Clean, safe drinking water is essential to life, and in this country, most of us take it for granted. But should we?
An alarming report about a new warning of what could be in our water.
A new study reveals almost half of the tap water in the U.S. is contaminated with something called
71% of people in the US drink tap water on a regular basis. But do you know what's really in your tap water? You might think it's just water, but it's actually a cocktail of chemicals, metals and microorganisms that can harm your health. You might want to sit down as we go through the things that are found in our tap water. PFAS chemicals.
Almost half of the tap water in the U.S. is contaminated with something called forever chemicals.
Nearly half of the nation's drinking water contains
PFAS, also known as forever chemicals.
PFAS chemicals are man-made chemicals that have been used in industry and consumer products worldwide since 1940s. They are resistant to heat, water, oil and stains. Some of the most widely used PFAS chemicals are found in non-stick cookware, firefighting foams, carpets, clothing, cosmetics and food packaging. They are very persistent and do not break down easily in nature. They can accumulate in the bodies of people and animals over time and cause various health problems such as cancer, hormone disruption, immune system damage, and reduced fertility. Yes, the same chemicals that we cook our food on and that we wrap our food in.
The synthetic compounds are near impossible to break down. They've been widely used in many non-stick cooking products, various food packaging, clothing, and more. And over time,
the agency also says more than 90% of the nation's drinking water systems meet all EPA standards.
They meet the water quality standards. Does that mean their water is safe?
Absolutely not.
Because of their widespread use and their persistence in the environment, many PFAS chemicals are found in the blood of people and animals all over the world and are present in a variety of food products and in the environment. Just knowing that these are in our tap water makes me sick already. But wait, there is more. Did you know that the water you drink may contain traces of drugs?
Painkillers, blood thinners, and chemotherapy drugs are just some of the substances that are found in your drinking water.
Drugs in water are a hidden problem that affects public health and the environment. Drugs in water refer to pharmaceuticals and personal care products that end up in lakes, rivers, streams, groundwater, and drinking water. PPCPs include prescription and over-the-counter medication such as antibiotics, painkillers, antidepressants, birth control pills, and cholesterol-lowering drugs. Veterinary drugs such as antibiotics, hormones, and antiparasitics used for livestock and pets. Hormones such as estrogen and testosterone from natural sources or synthetic products. Cosmetics, fragrances, sunscreen, and other chemicals that people use for health and hygiene purposes. Drugs get into the water through various ways. One of the main ways is human excretion. When people take medications, they do not metabolize or absorb all of the active ingredients. The leftover drugs are eliminated through urine or feces and enter the wastewater system. Wastewater treatment plants are not designed to remove all of the PPCPs from the water, so some of them pass through the treatment process and are discharged into surface water or infiltrate into groundwater. Drugs in water can have negative impacts on human health and the environment. Some studies have suggested that exposure to PPCPs in water may be associated with increased risk of cancer, hormone disruption, antibiotic resistance, allergic reactions, development problems. There is a lack of scientific knowledge about their long-term effects on humans, especially when they interact with each other or with other chemicals in water. So who knows what else can they cause in the future? Here are a few very disturbing studies. A 2017 study estimated that the global consumption of PPCPs was 3.9 million metric tons in 2015 and projected that it would increase by 66% by 2050. A 2019 study detected 56 different PPCPs in 47 out of 48 US streams sampled. A 2021 study reported that male fish exposed to low levels of estrogen developed female characteristics.
There's something happening to the rainbow darter, a tiny fish that lives in the rivers of southern Ontario. If they're downstream from a sewage treatment plant, the male fish turn into female.
In Regina's heritage neighborhood, homes from the early 1900s often have lead-contaminated drinking water.
Lead is a toxic metal that can cause serious health problems, especially for children and pregnant women. And yes, it is also contained in some of our tap water. How did it get there? Lead pipes were widely used in the past to deliver water from the main water line to the home. Lead pipes can last 75 to 100 years. So many of them are still in use today. The US Environmental Protection Agency has estimated that there are currently 6 to 10 million lead services lines across the United States. This means that more than half of American drink water is containing lead. Lead levels in tap water can vary depending on the time of the day, season, method of sampling, flow of water and other factors. You cannot see, taste or smell lead in drinking water, so even water that runs clear can contain it. Lead exposure can cause a range of health effects, from behavioral problems and learning disabilities to seizures and death. Young children are particularly vulnerable to lead poisoning because they absorb 4 to 5 times as much ingested lead as adults from a given source. Pregnant women are also at risk of lead exposure because lead in bone is released into blood during pregnancy and becomes a source of exposure to the developing fetus. Lead exposure during pregnancy can cause miscarriage, stillbirth, premature birth, and low birth weight. It can also affect the baby's brain development and cause learning and behavioral problems later in life. You may be thinking, alright, I'll go and drink bottled water instead. Well, that is not a good idea either, and we explain why in the video on our channel.